G'day Internet. Today I'm going to give you an update on my rotary engine build project. A lot of stuff has happened since the last video I posted where we tore the 13B apart. Some good things and some bad things. There's a combination of things that make me really happy and things that make me really sad. So, things that make me happy. We got the 12A taken out of the car that was running. So you'd think that the components out of that engine would be good because it was a running engine. Well, they're all junk. Even though it was running, that doesn't mean that it's something I want to assemble together and put all this work into. See that? That's pitting. So coolant or rust or something sat in the chambers for a long period of time. And I talked to a fella that runs a rotary machine shop in Canada, and he said, yeah, pitting is not generally something that you can just lap away. I might try and do it because I have nothing to lose, but in terms of actually trying to get this engine together, I don't want to rely on these. So that's a pretty shitty thing. Did all that. I didn't even need to take the 12A apart. I just needed to take it out, but I needed to take it apart to learn that all this stuff was no good. So both chambers are like that. They have pretty significant pitting at the bottom of the chamber. So let's review. I wanted to take a 12A and a 13B and put them together. And all the parts from the 12A are bad, and almost all of the parts from the 13B are bad. So that's kind of shitty. Not really happening the way that I imagined it would, but nobody ever said building a rotary engine was easy or simple. So what's our plan? I've been working directly with Adam at RX7 Specialties out of Calgary. He runs a rotary machine shop out of Canada. Seems to be a pretty cool dude, runs a pretty cool shop. And he has used irons that are good and don't have pitting on them. And 3 of those were about, all 3 were $900 together. And then I chose to get them lapped, which was another $300 so that the surfaces are perfectly smooth. I don't know if that is going to remove the nitrate hardened coating that's on them, but there's discussion about if the nitrate hardened coating is actually crucial, because it's not really the first thing to go on a rotary engine. Typically something else happens first. But anyway, so that's expensive, but it's like $1,500 to get the irons. So those are coming. So that's a good thing and a bad thing that was fixed with money. Another good thing. I got my brand new rotor housings in the mail. These are brand new from Mazda. Beautiful. So that's incredible. Incredibly shitty thing is that I ordered 2 of these and one of them came damaged. It came with damage to the packaging and damage to the rotor housing such that I couldn't even use it. That's incredibly frustrating and disappointing. So I have just sent that back and we're going to wait on a new one. Not the end of the world, but pretty frustrating when you order a $1,000 brand new part and it comes completely unusable. So that's been a bit of a vibe killer. Back to a positive thing. We have chosen a color scheme for the engine. I'm going to do all black, and I'm going to sand off the accents down to bare metal. So this is all going to be black, but these raised pieces up here are going to be sanded down, so it's just the aluminum. It's going to look really cool. So I've chosen a color scheme. I didn't know if I was going to paint it at all, but we're going to paint it because we have everything apart. If you're ever going to paint it, this is when you do it. Another good thing, this is the front timing cover. I really went the full 9 yards, or whatever they say, with this guy. I fully sandblasted it, and then I hit it with some engine primer and engine paint by Duplicolor, and I made sure to follow the instructions exactly. The humidity and temperature were correct. This was sandblasted and then blown off, so surface prep was as good as you can get. I made sure to do 2 light coats, waiting 10 minutes in between, and then doing a medium coat of primer and then of the top coat. So painting this took a little over an hour of me just painting it, sitting on Reddit for 10 minutes and then going back and painting it again. But actually following the instructions to a T, I think is going to pay off dividends. Because this looks really goddamn good, if I am to say so myself. I think that looks incredible. So we're going to do that to all of our components, which means I have signed up for a whole lot more work, because everything on the car is rusty. This is the water pump housing. So I dipped this in some Evapo Rust for a day and a bit, and you can see where the Evapo Rust stopped. Like, the line is, like, right there. I was kind of digging at it with some wire wheels last night, but working on painting that. I think that's pretty much it for the really cool and really not cool parts of the project. Also, interjection, forgot to mention this. We got our porting template in the mail. That just showed up yesterday. Look at that. Large street port. Brap, brap, brap. And here is my Atkins seal kit. So that's exciting. Look at all of this stuff. All this brand new stuff. Everything that came out of the engine is incredibly crusty and useless, and everything that's going back in is brand new and beautiful. So this is pretty much everything. Apex seals, side seals, corner seals, all the springs, all the gaskets, all the washers, all the everything. It even comes with an oil filter. And it was packed with love by Mama Atkins. She has blessed my build with braps. Thank you, Mama Atkins. Also, assembly lube on deck. High tack on deck. Carbide burrs for doing my porting on deck. Brand new thing of grease because my other thing of grease is disgusting. Brand new thing of RTV because my current thing of RTV is disgusting. Oh, another thing. I'm going to include the video that I shot from when I was doing this, but our rotors are almost ready to go. We're starting to work on clearancing our side seals that we got from Atkins Rotary. And there are a million videos on YouTube that explain how this works and how to do it. So I won't go too in depth because I honestly don't know too much, but I'll tell you what I do know and what I'm doing. So I have organized all of my rotor hardware, all of my springs and seals and stuff. I've organized those into these little containers that I went out and bought specifically for this purpose, because I want to be organized, and I will screw this up if I don't keep myself organized. So this is rotor 1 gear side, and I got 3 more of these. I just distributed all the hardware, so on this side you can see all of the corner seals. So that's rotor 1 smooth side, so that's the side that doesn't have the gears on it. And yeah, so each one of these containers is half of a rotor. So each one of these cubbies has a side seal spring, a corner seal, and a corner seal spring. And clearancing these side seals, what the clearancing is referring to is the clearance between the end of this big long seal. This is a separate piece of metal that looks like this. This is an old one that I have. And the clearance is referring to the gap between the corner seal and the side seal. So right now, this is one of the new ones, and I've been grinding it down. I'll talk about my grinding setup in a second. I've been grinding this one down slowly until I found 0 clearance, which is where we are right now. And then we're going to keep grinding it. We're going to take tiny little bites off the end of it until we get within spec, which is, 0.0024 of an inch, up to 0.004 of an inch. So we're going to do 0.003. We're going to aim for the middle. So you check it with a set of feeler gauges. So right now I definitely can't fit anything in there right now. It's pushing up against it. I kind of had to push on it a tiny bit to get it in there. So what we're going to do, and I have to do this 12 times, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on the other side. So this is by far the most time-consuming part about building a rotary engine. I think that's what everybody says. So I'm taking my time. I'm going to make sure that I do it right. So let's talk about the grinding apparatus. So what some people do, which is kind of the, I don't know what to call it, it's kind of the, honestly, more work and worse result way to do it, is you get a piece of sandpaper, like 1500 grit or something like that, and you just lay it down on the table, and you put the side seal in like I have here to see how close it is, and then you take it out, and then you, with your hand, approximate the right angle. So the way that this is cut on the end kind of makes a difference, because the better of a job you do at this, the better your compression will be. Because if you cut it way too short, there's going to be a hole in there where gases can pass by, and that's not good. And if it's too close, what will happen is whenever this seal heats up, it'll expand in its pocket, and it'll bind up against the corner seals, and then it won't spring up and down anymore, and then you won't have compression either. So you got to get it within spec. So you can use a piece of sandpaper and approximate the angle just by your hand and go check, check. But what I've also seen people do is use a drill press like this. I've seen people take a rotor with this part basically cut off and mounted in a drill press such that you have a grinding wheel like that inside where the corner seal goes, and you use the rotor, you use the rotor as a jig, and you push it through and you go and you do that. And that is a much better approach to cutting these, because you actually get that tiny little radius. It's not a flat cut, focus. It is not a flat cut. And you don't want it to be a flat cut, because what it is supposed to be meeting up with is a circle. So if you cut it flat, you have a straight thing up against a round thing. And that doesn't seal as well as a curved thing around a curved thing. So, yeah. So, since I don't have spare rotors to start hacking up, I thought, has anybody 3D printed one of these? This seems like a thing that you could 3D print a jig. And I searched for it, and just this year, somebody uploaded this jig. So, thanks to whoever created this thing, it's been working well so far. Basically, you put your side, you clamp it to the vise, or clamp it to your drill press. By the way, this is a brand new drill press that I bought just for this, although I'm going to use this drill press for a million other things. It's just something that I haven't added to my workshop until now. Figured this was a good excuse. So you pop that in there, and then I've found that the perfect place for the, whatever you call this, the grinding wheel, I found that the perfect place for it is not actually right in the middle. It's kind of off to the side a little bit. I experimented with it on this junk seal, and I got the angle just about perfect. So that whenever this corner seal isn't in here, whenever this meets up with the end, I don't know if you'll be able to appreciate this, the inside of there is still a perfect circle. It doesn't have a flat spot because of the side seal, if you know what I mean. So the idea with this jig is that you place feeler gauges back here, and the steps are, you bunch it up against the grinding wheel as close as you can, where it's just barely touching it, like that. And then you put feeler gauges in back here, and you slowly increment by whatever you want to increment by. And I found that to be really tedious, and also not that precise, because humans and 3D printed plastic, it wasn't that precise. And we're talking about shaving off a thou at a time here. It is a thou at a time, right? A thou is 0.001? Yeah, I think so. So, what I found works instead is the following. So, you pull this down. I'll just turn it on, and hopefully you can hear me over the drill press. So, this is my, oh god. So, we'll use the junk one for the demonstration. This is one of the original seals that was in the engine. So I'm going to pop it in there. Actually, I don't need to have it running right now necessarily. I'll pull this down, I'll push it against the bit with no force at all. Then, so if I turn it on now, it'll really just graze it. It won't really cut off much material at all. You can hear it hitting. But what I like to do is have it here and then push it in just a little bit. You hear that sound difference? And pull it up. Now slowly bring it back down. I found that that works quite well for taking off a tiny little nip at a time. So that's the approach. This is going to take me a while. Our side seals are clearanced. All of them are clearanced except for one that I accidentally cut too short. So that's not the end of the world. I'm getting replacement side seals from dude in Calgary. So I'll fix that. Also, my rotor bearings. These are the bearings that go inside of the rotors. I pressed this out. It might have been reusable, but it's a little questionable. There's not really great lighting right now, but there's some weird corrosion on it. I would just feel better replacing it. I think the other bearings in the engine are going to be fine, but the rotor bearings, they were sitting in the really crusty rotors, so they have some weird corrosion on them. We're going to replace them. So our rotors are basically ready to go. Clearancing the side seals is the big pain in the butt, and that's basically done. So our rotors are pretty much done. And yeah, so that's a good thing. And we're going to finish this update video off with two good things. I got a cat. His name is Felix, and he is a very good boy. Oh, I'm sorry, bud. He is an expert rotary mechanic. He's teaching me the ways. And, yeah, he is a certified good boy. Aren't you, dude? Aren't you, dude? So that's a great thing. I love him. He's great. Other things that I'm going to love and that are going to be great. Look at what just showed up in the mail. So I really just made this decision the other day when I clicked the buy button. What we're going to do for a carburetor is a Holley Sniper 2 EFI conversion. So I thought long and hard about if I was going to do fuel injection and figure out all that extra complexity, or if I was going to do a carburetor. And the Sniper system is basically an EFI carburetor. It takes the form factor of a carburetor and has fuel injection in it, and the ECU inside the thing, which is absolutely insane. So the thing that sits on top of your engine, on top of your intake manifold, it contains your ECU, contains a whole bunch of sensors, contains your fuel rails, your fuel injectors, your throttle body plate, your pedal sensor, absolutely everything. It's really cool. And the Sniper 2 just came out this year. So Sniper 1 came out, I don't know, a long time ago. And they have learned from their mistakes. They just released the Sniper 2, and that's like just in time for me to do this build. It's going to be more work than a carburetor, but it'll give me better results than a carburetor. And it has self-tuning capabilities. So we're gonna learn about that. We're gonna see how well it works. But hopefully this can just figure out whatever porting setup I employ on the engine. So if I do a big street port or if I do a bridge port, hopefully this will, through its feedback algorithm, figure out my fueling for maximum brappage. So let's tear into it. I literally haven't opened this yet. We're doing it on video. That's why I'm holding this knife. Careful. Also, one thing I'm stoked about is I think I'm not going to get charged duty on this. I was really scared ordering from Holley's website because they're in the US. But I think this product's country of origin is the States, therefore I don't have to pay duty on it. Because this was $2 grand, a little over $2 grand, and I don't want to pay duty on that. I don't want to pay duty on anything. It sucks. It sucks being in Canada sometimes. Oh my god. Look at it. Look at it. That's so exciting. I probably shouldn't set the knife near the cat. Right, dude? Oh, man. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to flip this box over. Alright, moment of truth. Let's check it out, yo. More boxes. Show me the goodies. I need the goodies. Okay, so what I've ordered is not the most basic Sniper 2 kit, but their what they call their master kit, which is an inline high pressure fuel pump, because you have to majorly upgrade your fuel pressure to run a setup like this. So I spent the extra to get their recommended fuel pump and their recommended filters, and it comes with rated fuel line that can handle the high pressure and stuff. Let's check it out. That's a lot of stuff. What do we got in here? Some fittings. I don't know exactly what that is. Fuel pressure regulator. I assume this is the actual fuel pump unit. Can we see it? Yep. The fuel pump. I reckon that's one of the filters. Clamps and stuff. Awesome. Fuel filter. Alright. No more dilly-dallying. Alright. Oh my god. There it is. So I want to take it out of the box right this second. I don't think that I do. But look at all that fueling. That's where the fuel gets injected. There's a fuel rail on that side, fuel rail on that side. This has a cast inner channel where they can communicate with fuel, where I guess the Sniper 1 didn't have that, and that was one of the improvements. All of our throttle body linkage stuff, all of our wiring. This is going to be fun. I thought wiring the methanol kit on the Speed 3 was a big job. This is going to be a big job, but pretty minimal as far as fuel injection conversions go. Pretty damn minimal. So that is pretty much all that I got for you in this video. I didn't want to go too long without giving you an update, but this project is going to take a long time. I'm going to be slowly picking away at it throughout the winter. So this is where we're at right now. We're gathering parts at an alarming rate. We are waiting for all of the goodies in the mail, all the actual plates and housings and stuff. And yeah, I'm just slowly going to be working on this, taking my time throughout the winter, and I'm going to take you along for the ride with me. So now that I've got this, I can work on installing the fuel pump on the car. That's a whole separate job that can happen regardless of the engine being assembled. I still got to order my intake manifold to actually hook this up to the engine. I don't have that yet. But we're getting there. We're getting there, aren't we, buddy? Alright. That's all I got for you today. Thanks for tuning in, and see you in the next one.